Patrick Star is everyone's best friend and just a lovable ball of pink, and while he's not the brightest, he fills a very important void in our hearts. I'm Jacob with Channel Frederator, and this is 31 facts about our favorite super C-star savior, Patrick Star. And before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to become part of our notification squad. Patrick was created to embody traits of an actual starfish. Much like his aquatic equivalent, Patrick looks dumb and slow, but he's quite active and aggressive. This is intended to mimic how a real starfish acts. You can see this detail when Patrick has small tantrums. Such behavior first appeared in the Season 1 episode Valentine's Day. While it was initially intended as a one-time thing, series writer Jay Lender believed that it felt right and decided to bring out Patrick's angrier side more often. At one point in development, his temper was going to play a much more prominent role. Patrick was initially planned to be an angry bar owner. Patrick's aggression turns to borderline insanity in the episode Nature Pants. When Spongebob abandons civilization to live in the wild among the jellyfish, Patrick tries to stop him by threatening to make Spongebob a trophy and keep him in a jar labeled Spongebob Friend. In fact, the relatively recent Savage Patrick meme originates from this episode. Ironically, Patrick turns more savage than the guy trying to return to the wild. Despite how he acts, Patrick has a college degree. In the Season 3 episode The Bully, it was revealed that Patrick attended community college with Spongebob's bully, Flats the Flounder, but he forgot what he studied there. And that's not all Patrick has achieved. Patrick eventually gets a driver's license during the show. Initially, when you see his ID, it's just his name written and it explicitly says he isn't a licensed driver, but later in the series he has an actual driver's license. We can also glean another fact about Patrick from his license. Supposedly, Patrick just weighs a slim 2 ounces. In fact, he's intended to sound somewhat light. SpongeBob characters each have unique footstep noises recorded via the Foley process. Patrick's footsteps are recorded using slip-on shoes. Jeff Hutchins, who creates sound for SpongeBob, decided this after noticing that barefoot sounds would sound too heavy. Patrick has some crazy family connections. Gary, SpongeBob's pet snail, is Patrick's cousin. Gary's father, Sluggo Star, is the brother of Patrick's father, Herb. Patrick also has an older sister named Sam who first appears in Season 7. Sam became lost at sea when they were still children. She was also voiced by Patrick's regular voice actor, Bill Fagerbakke. Many people believed Patrick would be a damsel in distress for the first SpongeBob film. The movie advertised the story as SpongeBob saving Patrick from a fisher in Florida. This concept was later revealed to be a joke plot based on the Pixar classic Finding Nemo. The idea was meant to confuse and amuse fans. But that doesn't mean that Patrick isn't always in danger. While Patrick rarely gets injured, he's endured almost 60 near-death experiences throughout the series. In a deleted scene from the first movie, Sandy appears as a live-action squirrel on the surface, causing Patrick to vomit profusely. Patrick's incessant vomiting resulted in the removal of the scene. This isn't Patrick's first mishap involving Sandy. In the Season 1 episode Texas, Patrick roasts the state and everything in it by calling them all stupid. Sandy gets so angry she rounds Patrick up with her lasso and we see him explode. So let's just chalk him surviving that one up to cartoon logic. Bill Fagerbakke has a naturally low voice but goes even more depressed and slower for Patrick. He says he tries to make an audible version of what silent film stars Laurel and Hardy do in their old films. As Fagerbakke states, "I just pretend that my mouth is on my chest and I just slow down." SpongeBob and Patrick are, of course, best friends. This obvious companionship is reflected when SpongeBob reveals his one half of a best friend's spring break heart tattoo on his bicep while Patrick's arm has the other half tattooed on it. But Patrick doesn't know too much about his pal. In You Don't Know Sponge, SpongeBob and Patrick took a friendship test that revealed many details about the duo and, surprise, it's a bit lopsided. Well, it's not entirely his fault. It's been revealed that his attention span is like 2 seconds. There's a lot we don't know about the enigma that is the inner machinations of Patrick's curious mind, but we're aware that it releases foul-smelling steam when it's forced to do some thinking. We also know that Patrick's brain is called the Department of Thoughts. It's filled with a bunch of tiny Patricks working to keep Patrick's brain functioning. When Patrick enters a deep thought in Chum Bucket Supreme, the department catches fire and the tiny Patricks are sent into a frenzy. Patrick thinks SpongeBob is triangle-shaped, and he's also unsure of the sea sponge's gender. In Patrick's mind, the jury's still out if SpongeBob is a boy or a girl. Although, real fact, sea sponges are actually hermaphrodites. The silly starfish claims that SpongeBob is a sleepwalker. Despite Patrick's lazy nature, he insists SpongeBob gets more sleep than him. I guess Patrick's just always burning that midnight oil watching TV or doing whatever it is that starfish do at night. But Patrick still loves the old sponge. He says SpongeBob is the most huggable guy Patrick knows, specifically because he's a sponge and sponges are soft. Patrick has worked for the Chum Bucket and the Krusty Krab a couple of times each. He worked for the Chum Bucket in the Fry Cook games and in Chum Bucket Supreme, and the Krusty Krab in No Hat for Pat and Big Pink Loser. Where are your loyalties? 50s, man! Over the course of the series, Patrick has worked more than a dozen different jobs. Other than working for the Krusty Krab and the Chum Bucket, he's also taken a shift as a doctor on multiple occasions. Well, impersonate might actually be a better word to use here. Patrick has an innate attraction to mermaids. Every time he meets a mermaid, he immediately falls in love with them. In Welcome to the Bikini Bottom Triangle, he attempts to hang out with a large group of mermaids. Patrick's design changed very slightly between season 1 and the start of season 2. During the first season, his eyebrows were thin and resembled the letter M, but from season 2 onward, his eyebrows got thicker and looked more like Z's. This change occurred due to the studio's shift from cell animation. Although Patrick knows actual superheroes like Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, he still thinks of Spongebob as his hero, and that's adorable. Patrick apparently has the ability to fly? Spongebob first sees Patrick flying in The Sponge Who Could Fly, but doesn't believe what he had just seen. I mean, would you believe that Patrick could fly? However, all doubts disappear 3 seasons later in the episode A Life in a Day when Patrick soars through the air once again. You Don't Know Sponge revealed a bunch about Patrick Star. We now know that he likes aquamarine, is right-handed, has an innie belly button, and his favorite ice cream flavor is a double pickled swirl with mustard and extra bacon bits. I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. Patrick also has arachnophobia, or the fear of spiders. In Home Sweet Pineapple, SpongeBob moves in with Patrick. At night, Patrick has a sleepwalking nightmare about spiders and tries to squish them with his rock, but ends up squishing SpongeBob instead. Repeatedly. Yeah, that living arrangement didn't last long. Once again, I'm Jacob, and thanks for watching 31 Facts About Patrick Star. What's your favorite thing about this character? Comment below and let us know. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to become part of our notification squad, and if you want to see more videos like this one, consider supporting our Patreon, where we post sneak peeks at new pilots, behind-the-scenes footage, extended creator interviews, and more. And remember, Frederator loves you.